World War II, 1943. The White House. The world was on fire, but in the residence, the chief concern was immediate. How do you feed a president under strict rationing? We know President Roosevelt is the leader, but what sustained the man making history's biggest decisions? We're opening the file on 25 favorite dishes that fueled him through America's darkest hours. Forget politics. Get ready to see the commander-in-chief through his plate, from the humble hot dog to elegant oysters. This isn't just food, it's history wrapped in a savory wartime secret. Ready to see what the president truly craved? Let's dive in. Number 1. Hominy grits. Reflecting a Southern influence in the White House kitchen, hominy grits were a frequent sight at breakfast or brunch. Imagine creamy stone-ground grits, perhaps served with butter, salt, and pepper, a simple yet satisfying dish. Sometimes they might be dressed up with cheese or even a touch of bacon. It was a taste of Southern comfort, nourishing and unassuming. He preferred them cooked to a very smooth and creamy consistency, not too stiff. Number 2. Popovers. A lighter, airier bread option, popovers were a delightful addition to the table. Imagine tall, golden brown pastry puffs, crisp on the outside and hollow within, perfect for tearing open and slathering with butter or jam. Their impressive rise required precision and heat, a small culinary triumph that brought a touch of elegance to even the simplest meal. These were often served with breakfast or alongside a hearty soup for lunch. Number 3. Waffles with maple syrup. A classic American breakfast or brunch, waffles were a delightful treat. Picture golden, crisp waffles, their deep pockets ready to be filled with rich maple syrup, perhaps alongside fresh berries or whipped cream if available. It was a more celebratory breakfast, often enjoyed on weekends, a moment of sweet indulgence before the demanding week ahead. The maple syrup used was almost always pure, tapped from New England trees. Number 4. Clam bake. While not a daily meal, the prospect of a clam bake at his Hyde Park estate, or even a scaled-down version in Washington, would undoubtedly have thrilled Roosevelt. Imagine the smoky aroma of clams, lobsters, corn on the cob, and potatoes all steamed together, absorbing the briny flavors. It was a quintessential East Coast communal meal, a taste of simpler times and good company. The president often spoke fondly of the informal seaside atmosphere that accompanied a proper clam bake. Number 5. Venison. From his beloved Hyde Park estate, venison was a game meat that occasionally graced the presidential table. Imagine lean, richly flavored venison, perhaps roasted or stewed, served with robust sauces and seasonal vegetables. It was a taste of the land, a connection to hunting and the outdoors, and a welcome variation from more common wartime meats, showcasing the bounty of his own property. The kitchen would often prepare a rich reduction sauce made with wild mushrooms to accompany the tender roast. Number 6. Roast beef with Yorkshire pudding. For formal dinners or when entertaining important guests, a grand roast beef was often the centerpiece. Envision a perfectly cooked joint of beef, tender and succulent, served with rich gravy and the delightful crispness of Yorkshire pudding. This was a meal of substance and tradition, projecting an image of strength and continuity, even as the world battled. The staff took great pride in achieving the perfect light and puffy texture for the Yorkshire puddings. Number 7. Sweet potato soufflé. A slightly more elaborate side dish, sweet potato soufflé would have offered a delightful contrast of textures and flavors. Imagine a light, airy soufflé made from mashed sweet potatoes, perhaps spiced with cinnamon and nutmeg, and baked until golden and puffed. It brought a touch of elegance and sweetness to the wartime dinner table, an innovative way to utilize a readily available vegetable. A dash of orange juice or zest was sometimes added for a brighter, more complex flavor profile. Number 8. Shrimp gumbo. Another nod to a diverse American culinary landscape, shrimp gumbo with its rich, savory broth, plump shrimp, and fragrant spices would have been a delightful and hearty meal. Imagine its complex flavors, a taste of the Gulf Coast, warming and filling. It speaks to a White House kitchen capable of preparing a wide array of American regional specialties. The roux, the essential base for gumbo, was always cooked to a perfect deep brown color for maximum flavor. Number 9. Pea soup. A simple, comforting, and nutritious soup, pea soup was a practical and satisfying option during wartime. Imagine thick, creamy green pea soup, perhaps enriched with ham hock or bacon for flavor. It was an economical dish making good use of dried peas and provided warmth and sustenance, a humble yet effective meal for a busy president. He found the deep green color and the subtle smokiness particularly appealing on cold evenings. Number 10. Strawberry shortcake. As another beloved dessert for Roosevelt's sweet tooth, strawberry shortcake, when strawberries were in season, was a pure delight. Picture fresh, ripe strawberries, glistening and sweet, piled high on a tender biscuit or sponge cake, all topped with a generous dollop of whipped cream. It was a taste of summer, fresh and vibrant, a truly American classic. This seasonal treat often featured berries picked from the White House Victory Garden. Number 11. Beer and ale. While not a food, Roosevelt was known to enjoy a refreshing beer or ale, particularly later in the day after a long session of work. Imagine a cool glass of American brew, a moment of relaxation and simple pleasure. It was a connection to the common man and a recognition of the hard work being done, a brief respite from the immense pressures of his office. His favorite was often a light, crisp lager from a local or regional brewery. Number 12. Cider. Reflecting his rural New York roots, cider, both hard and sweet, was a beverage Roosevelt appreciated. Imagine the crisp, tangy taste of apple cider, perhaps from his own orchards at Hyde Park. It was a refreshing drink, wholesome and natural, connecting him to the land and simpler pre-war pleasures. He especially liked it served chilled or slightly mulled with spices during the autumn months. Number 13. Rum drinks. For certain social occasions or a relaxing evening, rum drinks were also part of Roosevelt's repertoire. Picture a cocktail, perhaps a planter's punch, or a simple rum and cola, a nod to his affinity for naval traditions and the tropical connections of his travels. These were moments of unwinding, a touch of Caribbean warmth in the often chilly Washington political climate. He sometimes mixed his own simple rum drinks, demonstrating his preference for straightforward preparation. Number 14. Scrambled eggs with sausage and corn fritters. A hearty breakfast was often a necessity for the early rising president. Imagine plump, seasoned sausages sizzling gently, their savory aroma filling the kitchen, served alongside light, fluffy scrambled eggs. The real highlight, though, was often the corn fritters. Crisp on the outside, tender and sweet within, a taste of comfort from America's heartland. This was a straightforward, satisfying start to a day often filled with weighty decisions, a meal that spoke of tradition and the simple pleasures of home. His favorite spot to enjoy this was often in his private study, reading the morning papers. Number 15. Hot dogs. Yes, even a president had a fondness for the humble hot dog. Not just any hot dog, but famously served with all the fixings, particularly during informal gatherings. One iconic instance was during a visit from King George VI and Queen Elizabeth. Imagine the regal guests, perhaps a touch bewildered, being presented with this all-American classic on the White House lawn. It was a moment of levity and connection, showing Roosevelt's desire to keep things relatable and distinctly American, even for royalty. The cooks ensured a variety of mustards and relishes were available for his guests to choose from. Number 16. Grilled cheese sandwiches. A true American comfort food, the grilled cheese was a frequent and welcome sight on Roosevelt's menu. Picture thick slices of white bread, perhaps from the White House bakery, generously buttered and filled with sharp cheddar cheese. Grilled to golden perfection, the cheese melted into a warm, gooey embrace. Simple, unpretentious, and utterly satisfying, these sandwiches offered a moment of warm respite amidst the strains of leading a nation through war. Due to rationing, the kitchen often experimented with different local cheeses to maintain quality. Number 17. Fish chowder. Hailing from Hyde Park and a true New Yorker, Roosevelt appreciated a good, robust fish chowder. Imagine rich, creamy broth brimming with tender chunks of white fish, potatoes, and perhaps some salty bacon or salt pork for depth of flavor. Served steaming hot, especially on a chilly Washington day, it was a meal that felt both nourishing and grounding. Despite rationing, seafood when available was a prized commodity, bringing a taste of the sea inland. He enjoyed this soup best when served with a side of crusty, homemade crackers. Number 18. Maryland fried chicken. A true Southern classic, Maryland fried chicken held a special place. Envision chicken pieces, perhaps marinated in buttermilk, then lightly breaded and pan-fried to a glorious golden brown, resulting in incredibly crispy skin and juicy, tender meat. This was a dish for more relaxed family-style meals, evoking warmth and southern hospitality. It required careful use of precious fats and flours, highlighting the skill of the White House chefs in making a little go a long way. The president preferred it served with a rich, cream-based gravy poured over the top. Number 19. Oysters Rockefeller. For more formal dinners or when something truly special was called for, oysters Rockefeller might make an appearance. Imagine fresh, briny oysters on the half shell, topped with a rich mixture of spinach, herbs, and breadcrumbs, then baked until bubbling and slightly golden. A luxurious dish, it showcased a connection to finer dining and a taste of the abundant coastal offerings. A subtle reminder of what America could offer even during leaner times. The use of fresh herbs often grown in the White House garden was key to the vibrant flavor. Number 20. Smoked salmon. As an avid sailor and lover of the sea, smoked salmon was a sophisticated treat Roosevelt enjoyed. Picture delicate, rosy slices of salmon with a subtle smoky flavor, perhaps served with capers, cream cheese, and thin toast points. It was a light, elegant appetizer or a component of a refined breakfast or lunch, reflecting a palate accustomed to quality and a connection to the bounty of the oceans. Often, this was sourced from quality suppliers in the Pacific Northwest or imported before the height of wartime shipping disruptions. Number 21. Apple pie. A quintessential American dessert, apple pie was a beloved staple. Imagine the sweet tart aroma of baked apples infused with cinnamon and nutmeg, encased in a flaky golden crust. Served warm, perhaps with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. If dairy rations allowed, it was a dessert that spoke of home, tradition, and enduring American values, a comforting end to any meal, formal or informal. The pie was frequently baked using apples harvested directly from the president's own orchards at Hyde Park. Number 22. Chocolate layer cake. Roosevelt had a well-known sweet tooth, and chocolate cake was a particular favorite. Envision a grand, multi-layered chocolate cake, rich and dark, generously frosted with a creamy chocolate icing. It was a celebratory dessert, bringing joy and a touch of indulgence to the White House table. Baking during wartime meant creative substitutions for sugar and chocolate, making each slice even more precious. He often requested the icing be extra thick and intensely flavored. Number 23. Cornbread. A simple yet essential part of many Southern-influenced meals, cornbread was a humble hero. Imagine a warm, golden slab of cornbread, perhaps slightly crusty on the outside, soft and crumbly within, served with a pat of melting butter. It was a perfect accompaniment to stews, fried chicken, or simply enjoyed on its own, a testament to American resourcefulness and the enduring appeal of traditional fare. Sometimes the kitchen would mix in small bits of bacon or jalapeno for a savory kick. Number 24. Creamed chipped beef on toast. A classic military mess hall dish, creamed chipped beef on toast, affectionately known as SOS, was a comfort food with a history. Imagine thin slices of dried beef simmered in a creamy, savory white sauce, served generously over crisp toast. It was a simple, filling meal, economical and hearty, perhaps evoking a sense of solidarity with the troops or just providing a straightforward, nourishing lunch. This dish was a practical choice for a quick lunch between urgent meetings. Number 25. Baked beans. Another hearty, filling side dish or light meal, baked beans were a staple. Picture slow-cooked navy or cannellini beans, infused with molasses, brown sugar, and perhaps a touch of mustard or bacon. Their sweet and savory depth made them a comforting presence at the table. These were often prepared in large batches, emblematic of economical, sustaining wartime cooking. The White House cooks perfected the art of baking them slowly in a traditional earthenware pot. As we close our culinary journey, these 25 dishes offer far more than just a list of ingredients. They paint a vivid picture of a president, Roosevelt, whose personal tastes spanned from the humble hot dog to elegant formal dinners, all within the extraordinary context of World War II. They reveal a man who found comfort in tradition, resilience in resourceful cooking, and even joy in simple indulgences, even as he led a nation through its darkest hours. Imagine stepping into that bustling White House kitchen, smelling the aromas, hearing the gentle hum of wartime life continuing amidst the storm. These meals sustained a president, but they also connected him to the everyday realities of Americans everywhere, facing rationing and contributing to victory gardens. They remind us that even in times of immense challenge, food remains a powerful force for history, tradition, and the enduring human spirit. Thank you for joining us on this nostalgic taste of history.